It baffles the mind how fast the elites are. But if we can uncover their secrets to a faster 5K, can we actually get faster?
Things are like non-negotiable.
I would almost go as far as saying it's a skill.
This was a race I ran sub 14.
Faster is going to help, but if we can increase engine efficiency...
People think you need the speed for the end, you do not.
Let's start with running coach Matthew Boyd.
Obviously, it depends what is the limiting factor. So what I might get the runner to do is I'd find out what their 5K time is and then what their average pace is for that. And then I'd get them to do a 5-minute test. And the 5-minute test is basically 5-minute time trial, run as fast and as far as you can in that 5 minutes. And I want to see that average pace for that 5-minute test be significantly higher than the average pace on the 5K.
This is essentially trying to figure out the size of your engine. Because what's the point of striving for a fast 5K and pushing your engine to its maximum if it can only push out a small amount of horsepower? So this 5-minute time trial will help identify if your engine is due for an upgrade. So I'm going to make this super practical for you Run Smarter scholars, and I'm going to create a 6-week training plan with the 5-minute test being at week 0. And while I have this up, let's create a week 0 checklist. First of all, if you're ready to dive into this training, you need to be pain-free for at least 2 months. These next 6 weeks are going to be really intense and we don't want any injuries flaring up. Second, we need some sort of foundation or baseline. So you need to be running at least 4 days per week and covering 16 miles minimum, full of like short runs and moderate runs and your weekend long run. The third thing I'm going to add to this checklist at week 0 is going to be that 5-minute time trial. And if it does identify you do have a small engine and you need to upgrade this engine, Matthew has come up with a solution.
So sprint intervals and VO2 max intervals, which is like 3 minutes on, 2 minutes off, max effort. And then sprint intervals at like 30 seconds max pace, 1 minute slow, 30 seconds max pace. And you'll be expecting to see results within that 4 weeks.
So let's add these workouts into 2 runs per week for the next 4 weeks with 3 to 8 repeats depending on your level of experience. My next guest is former world champion Tina Muir.
Make sure you are adding in some kind of strides after the run. That could be 3 to 4 of about 60 to 80 meters. That could be 6 to 8 if you're more experienced and used to doing that kind of stuff.
So strides are repeats typically done at the end of your run with a gradual acceleration phase spread over about 15 seconds. Then you're trying to hold your top speed for 5 to 10 seconds. And then you slow down, take 1 to 2 minutes of rest and then repeat. Tina recommends 3 to 5 times per week, but since we're already doing Matthew's sprint sessions, let's add it to 3 days and start from week 2.
So strides, I think, are a really key thing to get that turnover, get that rust shaken off.
The next recommendation comes from Olympian Jared Ward. He is a 2:09 marathoner with an impressive 5K time of 13 minutes and 34 seconds.
And assuming you feel comfortable at that distance and running a 5K is okay, I'm going to encourage you to train for a 10K.
Okay, Jared, so we've got our 10K race locked in 4 weeks out from our 5K race. But you're probably thinking, why are we doing this in the first place?
A lot of times I feel like we look to speed, right? We say, well, we want to run faster, so we need to train faster. But especially as we age, training faster is harder. And while I do feel like speed is a part of any training program, and I certainly do my fair share of speed, the aerobic system can improve forever. I really believe that. Faster is going to help, that's the engine size. But if we can increase engine efficiency, and sometimes for a lot of us, especially again as we age, proves a little bit easier. And as we get further, our body will make adaptations and it will be easier to run faster.
So with these tips so far, we are building a bigger engine with Matthew's workouts, we're shaking off the rust with Tina's strides, and we are making our engine more efficient with Jared's advice, which ties in really well with some of the advice from Olympian David McNeill with a 5K PB of 13 minutes and 12 seconds. That's fast, which is why it surprised me when he told me his secret for a faster 5K.
Learn to run slow. I would almost go as far as saying it's a skill. The vast majority of running, whether you're an elite runner or a recreational runner, should be enjoyable, easy, conversational. If we know anything about getting better and faster, it is volume, training volume. And so what's the safest way to do that? Is do it with lots of slow running.
So again, this is a tip to improve your engine efficiency. But it isn't very wise to pile on the mileage in these 6 weeks while we're introducing these new speed workouts. So let's draw our attention to our initial checklist and say that your starting mileage could be a lot higher if you want to push for a better 5K time. David says that you're running slow enough if you're able to hold a full conversation or if your breathing isn't labored. But this advice can often be misinterpreted and it's often quite subjective. So David also recommended that as a rough guide, your kilometer pace shouldn't be within 1 minute of your 5K and 10K PB. So as an example, if my PB for the 10K is 45 minutes, that pace would average out to be 4 minutes and 30 seconds or 7 minutes and 16 seconds per mile. Then my easy pace should be slower than 5 minutes and 30 seconds or 8 minutes and 52 seconds per mile. And if this seems really slow to you, keep this in mind.
You'll more quickly learn to love running because you'll realise that it doesn't actually always have to be uncomfortable, and then you're more likely to do it more often and actually accumulate that volume, accumulate those weeks, those months, those years of running that, improve your 5K performance.
Okay, Run Smarter scholars, strap yourself in because we now have the most enthusiastic guest I've had on this video. Eoin Everard is a sub 4 minute miler with a sub 14 minute 5K, and I was initially expecting just a 5 minute chat like the rest of my guests, but Eoin had other ideas and he just chewed my ear off, revealing all of his secrets, which took over 20 minutes.
Okay, there's a couple of key things. 1 month out, I do 4 by a mile. I would do 1200 meters at 4:10, even more, 4:20. Now, 10 days out is really crucial. I can tell you about a new session I'm doing. No one's doing this.
There, so we'll finish up there.
Can I give one more practical takeaway?
Be my guest.
Sorry, you might have to edit this. This is a bit all over the place.
So let's simplify this and add it into our training plan. Eoin likes to separate runners into 2 different camps. The first being the neuromuscular athlete who responds really well to race simulated workouts and usually gets better race on race. The second is the aerobic athlete, which responds better to high volume and workouts slower than race pace. If you want to know more detail about which athlete you might be, I'll add the podcast conversation that I had with Eoin in the description.
If you're a neuromuscular athlete, you do need those then track specific sessions. 1 month out, I do 4 by a mile plus 20 seconds on the mile.
So with these sessions that Owen's talking about, you need to have a target 5K time, and therefore we can calculate your target 5K pace, or like your race pace. For example, if I wanted to run a 5K in 20 minutes, my pace would need to be 6 minutes and 26 seconds per mile. So Owen's workouts consists of 4 rounds of 1 mile at target race pace plus 20 seconds. Or if you're doing kilometers, you're going to be doing 6 by 1 kilometer with adding 10 seconds to your kilometer race pace. And then you can give yourself 3 to 4 minutes of a recovery jog in between these rounds.
Then you could do a kind of shorter race, like a 2 mile time trial or a park run or something where you're going to go, I'm going to go easy for the first mile and then I'm going to really try hit it in the last 2 hard ones. Now, 10 days out is really crucial, and this is the session I like the most.
Okay, this workout is going to be easier for me just to explain and write down. So you're going to do 1200 meters at your 5K race pace plus 20 seconds. Then you're going to do a full lap jog recovery of 400 meters. Then 1K at race pace, 1 lap recovery. Then 1K at race pace plus 20 seconds, lap recovery. 800 meters at faster than your 5K race pace, lap recovery. 800 meters at race pace plus 20 seconds, lap recovery. Then you're going to finish with 400 meters at quicker than your 3K pace. And while this might sound like a bit much and something that you're not quite used to, just remember that each workout has a purpose, as Eoin explained.
People think you need a speed for the end, you do not. What helps at the end is strength, being aerobically strong so you don't slow down. What you need the speed work for is that the start of the race does not feel like you're absolutely sprinting. So you can't be gritting your teeth from the start of a 5k. The first 2.5k has to feel smooth.
Now, this is where the conversation gets really interesting, and this is going to change our week 0 checklist and what you do as you warm up on race day.
Things are like non-negotiable. The carbon fiber shoes, need them. You won't run a PB without them. Second thing I would do is when I warm up, I would do a 30-second stride about 10 minutes out at race pace. Essentially, there's a thing called VO2 kinetics. They did this research and they found that like people who had gone nearly up to VO2 max, so had gone hard for like that 30 seconds, it only took them 6 seconds to get back up to the max VO2. The others could take them 24 seconds. So that's another little tip I would definitely do.
Okay, so here is our complete 6-week training plan. But if I may, I'd like to add my own personal touch and add 1 to 2 strength sessions per week. And that's because we have really good evidence showing that if you strength train for 6 weeks before a 5k race, you can expect an improvement of 4%. However, to reap these benefits, you need insight into the right exercises, including the right sets, reps, weight, and rest periods. But don't worry, because I break down the exact exercises and dosages in this video right here.